to the lesson. Check the description box below in your YouTube player for tabs and backing tracks on my website, information about the sound tools I'm using today, and links to other goodies via my Patreon page. Continuing. Okay, so step one, let's just make sure we're all in agreement on what a minor pentatonic is. So this is all in E, so... Oh, need my Univibe on. Okay, though. So the start of the Hendrix lick, let's look at that. The genius of Hendrix, well, there's much genius. Let's just learn stuff. So we're going to slide in to 14, 12, 14, push it up. Now, yeah, if you're not super good at bending and stuff like that, I recommend, total grip around the guitar. You know, this is all locked in, which, you know, for some styles of playing, this is not what you want. For pushing things around in a bluesy way, you want that. Let's look at that. That's the first thing to practice. And then you'd add, let's see. That's the next lick. That's, you know, I think that's in the second solo of Watchtower. Let's look at that. So isolating that from the first thing, it is. We're still flat on those 12s. 15 off, flat 5, the blue note coming in, 15, and you're actually, technically that's sweep picking. Add that to the first thing. That's a cool lick already, and see, this is one of the things I observe about Hendrix, that a line, his lines are so free, you'll think it's going one way, and then he'll jump back around and come back down again. So that's kind of what we got. You'd think he'd just go like that, but it doesn't do that. So that next part, again, he just, you know, dropped this stuff out. You know, for me and people like me, we have to sit there and scratch our heads and do it over and over and over for it to make sense. So once we get back to the top, so once we're there again, we're going, which that's a cool blues lick in and of itself. 15 off. There's that pentatonic, or sorry, that blue note again. Back to the 14 and land it. And then this is such a Hendrix thing. That 14 goes up a half. He catches it with the pick. That's in Foxy Lady. So. So licks like this, to me, these are my warm-up licks. Like, you know, once you learn that, you're like, well, I'll just practice that for a month or so. This is my new thing. But for me, you know, that's a great lick. By the way, you can slow down stuff. Either there's a gear up here on your screen if you're on an iPad, or a gear down there on a desktop, or tablet, sorry, to slow things down to 3/4 speed or slower. If you're like, what was that? How do you do that? You can do that. So I like to then test myself and see if I can do the same sequence on other parts of a minor pentatonic, aka, because that, Hendrix didn't do that. Eric did that. So that is me going, I like that sequence of movement, that finger dance there. What's it sound like an octave lower in a new cage structure? So I'm doing it out of, if this was, you know, the usual, I'm going to go to the position behind. So this is you know, if you're not familiar with all of your pentatonic boxes or your caged boxes, whatever you want to call them, this is, yeah, 12, 10, 12, 9, 12, 9, 12, 10, 12. And there's some good stuff in this one. Yeah, it's the neato behind one. So the lick, so to transpose this lick, you have to understand that's a tonic, that's a flat 7, that's a 5, that's a flat 5, and so on. You do need to know actually intervallically what those are. That's how I was able to do this. I was like tonic, flat 7, 5. Yes, I could have put the flat 5, but that's hard to get to, so I just did a 4. Or you could just watch Eric play, which is both things work. I always think it's good to know what the heck you're doing when you're doing it, though. So here we are, 9 on the G. There he is. 9, 12, 9, 12 up. That's the same as without the flat 5 because it's hard to get to. And then, where is it? The next octave. Back down again. And then here's, that's the same as, see what I did there? I just put the octave down. So that's just a little bend on 12, 10. So yeah, there's the octave lower. And that's cool because no one's done that one before. Like this one, people are like, oh, you're a Hendrix fan, I can see that. This one's like, where'd you get that lick? Well, I got it from YouTube. Now, then I'm going to kind of bridge the gap because I'm going to do it one more octave lower. I'm going to do it down in the open position too because I like to do anything that I can do up high, I like to make sure I can do down low too. Because why do we want to just be like, when we could be like, so my gap bridger, this is out of Voodoo Child. That's like I guess that's kind of an E7 chord. That's, you know, 5 on the A string, 4, and that is O 4 2. That's really an A over E. And then the same lick now, 3rd octave lower. Huh. Yeah. Oops. See what I did? I'm just moving it through the octaves of the box. That one becomes tricky. Well, and that's the fun exercise. You find new ways to move your hands around. So, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2. So that's the first part. So once it goes up, yeah, then you're just crawling straight down. That's the second part. So. E power chord. Before we close out, I'd just like to thank my friend Ryan at Demos in the Dark. I'm going to put a link to his YouTube channel. He's a nice fella, and he's the one who hipped me to this Jam Pedals, Univibe, and the Greer Lightspeed, actually, both the pedals I'm using today. They sure sound good. Thanks, Ryan. And that's all we'll do for today. I think the number one thing that's unique about Hendrix, well, there's many things, but the way that if he has a line of notes in any scale, but often pentatonic, it's not going to just go up the ladder or down the ladder. You're going to see it start to go down, jump around, come back. It's very unpredictable, so that's a useful thing to think about. Other things that I would recommend working on with this lick, because we don't really want to be stuck in the key of E, I would try it in G, A, D, and C, all the other cage shapes. I would try it in open position, which I'll probably include those on the tab too, just to give you more food for thought, because what we really want when we learn a cool lick is. We want to be able to adapt it and have it useful for us in whatever situation we might find. Good luck.